Good evening and welcome back to the Cheltenham Exchange. Sorry, you're going to have to put up with me. I'm back. Oh no. Alex has been absolutely superb, nailing the Twitter polls. I've been loving them, watching them, and watching the guys discuss the outputs of those polls. So really enjoyed that, guys. Great job. Unfortunately, Matty's still unable to be with us at the moment, but he's still keeping in touch and sending through his little nuggets of gold dust for us to pass on. So, yeah, without further ado, there is a bit of further ado. I better say thank you to Lloyd at Hacked Up Racing Gifts for your ongoing support. Remember to pop over to Lloyd's website and use Exchange 25 for 25% off. Just in time. You've got less than 3 weeks now, isn't it?
Indeed.
2 weeks and 6 days.
And we want to break the record. Our record of likes is 180, so we want to try and get up to 200 to keep liking that button so we can break our record.
For liking what's that, Ian?
For of all the history of Cheltenham Exchange, the highest we've got is 180 likes on our videos. So let's try and get it to 200.
Be part of history.
Yeah. Push the button.
Okay, so yeah, get liking, get subscribing, keep watching. Remember to watch back those Pitter Twirls, those Twitter poll videos. They've been excellent so far. Plenty of content in there. A good bit of interaction with people who have been getting involved on Twitter and so on. So yeah, get watching, folks. And that's enough for me misering on. Ante Post 7, the last of our Ante Post videos, which have been running since October. So we're going to have our last one tonight. The lads are all giving one pick in graded races and one pick in handicaps, I think, is it, to finish off tonight?
Yeah.
So we'll run through them. Matty has sent his in, so I'll read his out. And then we'll follow up with another show, which will be good to watch, where we're going to go back right the way back to October and go through and have a look at all the picks that the lads have put up Ante Post this year so far. No holds barred. There's going to be some stick, but there's also some real value that has been posted earlier in the season. So should be good. Keep watching, folks. So Ante Post 7. Graded pick first. Where are we going to go? We have to go to the boss man, Rain Man.
The boss man. Oh, poor old Scotty's never lived it down, has he? Right, so this was quite a hard choice. Obviously, bearing in mind we're 3 weeks away. So I've gone for an each way play. One I've not picked in this race before. I've gone in the Ballymore, and it's going to be the first of my Henry de Bromhead duo, and it's in the pocket. You can get best odds around 14-1. Just a bit of a background. Made a hurdle debut at Wexford in October, over 2 miles and won by 6 lengths. There's a horse in behind, I think, Joe Machan, excuse my pronunciation, and Ferdinand and Head of the Posse that all come out and won the race or two after. Then a step up in trip up to 2 mile 4 at Nace on the 20th of December. Won that race as well. 3-Car Bragg, who's one of the talking horses at the moment, was in behind. I think was second, and then went on to win at Ferryhouse next time out. Absolute Notions was third and was a close second. I think at the DRF behind Goodland, again, is potentially one of the favourites for this race. And then last time out in the Facile Vega, the race everybody was talking about, Ileta Tomp won the race, and in the pocket was beaten over 9 lengths, but it was over 2 miles. So you could see that the in the pocket was well outpaced, and a step up in trip to the Ballymore, 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5, I think will do wonders. If you look at the top of the market, you got Hermes Allen, you got the Willie Mullins bingo. You're not sure who's going to go. You got like Champ Kylie, Gaelic Warrior, and for Goodland, obviously down there, as I know, it's not Mullins horses at the top of the market as well. So he's going to be very open, but I'm going to go with an each way play in the pocket.
In the pocket, JP McManus. Thank you, Ian. John.
Right, well, I'm going for the Supreme Novices Hurdle of all races. And my first selection is the Ollie Murphy trained Chasing Fire, he's generally available about 16 to 1, non-runner, no bet. Now, he caught my eye in his bumper at Wetherby last season, where he won by a couple of lengths. But this season, he's racked up a hat-trick of novice hurdle wins, and he just seems to have improved from run to run, to be fair. He's a proper strong travelling type. He jumps well enough, and he picks up as well when he's asked. So I just think he's sort of what not to like, really, in what is a very, very open race. I mean, we've seen Facile Vega beat, haven't we? I'm not convinced on Marine National's form, to be honest with you. And also, Ollie Murphy had second and third in 2019 with Thomas Darby, Matty's old favourite, and Itchy Feet, which was quite a weak Supreme. And I don't think this one is looking to be that much better than that one, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, a few weeks ago, we all thought Faso Vega was the superstar, but he showed that he's been beaten. I do expect him to get the money on the day in this race. But I just think Chasing Fire could pick up some each way money in this race. You know, he could go closer than what a lot of people think. So, yeah, with it being an open race, as I say, I quite like him for it.
Lovely. Chasing Fire. He hit the line hard at Sandown last time.
He did indeed.
So it looked like that's, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he'll get up the hill, doesn't he, based on that? I mean, he passes the eye test anyway, so, you know, I'm quite happy with him.
Lovely. Thank you, John. Alex, your first of the night, please, sir.
So, I've made it quite clear that I'm not particularly a big fan of Gaillard de Maynil. So I've been looking through the market, trying to find what I'm going to think is going to get him beat. And I've found the one that I think I'm going to be backing and the one I'm going to be putting out today. Horse called Churchstone Warrior. Current best price, sort of 6 to 1, sort of, you can get 13 to 2 in a place, but I guess general, I'll say 6 to 1, which is still an each way price. I mean, if you go each way on this one and he comes in the top 3, you still get your money back. So it's better than backing Gaillard de Maynil each way. I can't back him to win. Reason why I quite like him, he's improved a lot since he's moved over fences. I mean, if you look at his Racing Post ratings this year, he's run 4 times this year. His first rating over fences was 133. Second rating was 136. Third rating 140. And most recent rating 151. So to me, he's clearly a progressive horse. He looks like he'll really appreciate the step-up trip as well. The further he goes, the better he is. I know that he finished second behind Gaillard de Maynil back in December, and that was over 3 miles. But I think the extra 6 furlongs is going to really come into Churchstone Warriors territory rather than Gaillard de Maynil. I'm very happy to take him on, really. I know he's the hot part and everybody's getting stuck in, but I'm trying to look for a bit of value, and I'm happy to take the progressive horse rather than the horse that just doesn't ever seem to want to win.
Thank you, Alex. That'll get tongues wagging.
Oh, it will. It will.
I'll get the tongues wagging.
If you think I'm an idiot, tell me in the comments. I don't care.
You're an idiot, Alex.
That's not everyone's allowed to do that, are they? Surely. Let's not.
Oh yeah, get stuck in. I don't care.
All right, 1 or 2.
One thing as well that I noticed when I was looking at the race as well, when I was looking at Gaillard de Maynil, was his ratings this year. Racing Post ratings have been dropping every race. So his first race, his Racing Post rating was 156, then 151, then most recently 148. So is he a horse that's, and Churchstone Warrior is, we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
So, Churchstone Warrior, second to Ramillies. I'm joking. Right, so at this point I will interject because Matthew has sent me his 2 picks, and I was listening into the Twitter poll day 3 show in the background before, and I heard this horse mentioned, and Matty's first pick is Jatara at 16 to 1, non-runner no bet, with Sky Bet for the mare's novice hurdle. And Matty's done a little write-up, which says she has only had 2 starts over hurdles. The first race, she finished 4 1/4 lengths behind High Definition. And then on her second hurdle start, she was beaten 1 1/4 lengths by Ashrow Diamond. Ashrow Diamond is at the front of the market, just behind Lucia. Ashrow Diamond will have to carry a penalty in the race, and I'd be hoping for more improvement to come from Jatara, and I hope she could reverse that form and put herself in the picture at the business end. At 16s, she is the play for me in this. What do you reckon, guys? Because I was on the periphery when you were talking about it just before, so...
No, it's definitely interesting. For what Alex, when we spoke about it in the previous video, it's Alex mentioned about the excuse me, the penalty and how she could potentially gain that extra pounds back for the 1 1/4 lengths, 1 1/2 lengths, what it is. So yes, that's a good shout, 16-1.
Lovely. Right, so yeah, with it being Ante Post 7, you've all been tasked with picking a handicapper for your second choice. Comes quite easily to Alex because you've been picking handicappers since end of September or something, I think it was.
December was my first one, OJ.
Love it, Al. Love it, Al. So shall I get Matty's handicap tip out the way and then you can not have to listen to my voice thrown it on anymore.
Yeah, go for it.
So Matty's handicap pick is in the Pertemps final handicap hurdle. And it's a horse he's mentioned previously, I think. Antayer, if that's how you say it, at 20-1, non-runner no better, with William Hill paying 5 places. Qualified for the race back in October when finishing 3rd of 15 behind Shoot First, and Botox has beaten 2 3/4 lengths. Travelled extremely well in the race, and in my opinion, wasn't given an overly hard time once a place in the top 4, not 6.
Yeah,
was given after the last on the running. He ran off 136 in that race and has been nudged up £3 to a mark of 139, which doesn't seem too excessive to me. At 20-1, paying 5 places for a horse who is generally a strong travelling sort and can be smuggled through the race to be produced around 2 out to mount his challenge, he's the one for me. So there we go. Antayer 20-1 in the Pertemps for Matty. So follow that, please, Alex.
Okay, so I'm putting up a horse in the Kinmure, currently a best price of 25-1, which you can get with a couple of bookies. And the horse I'm putting up is Panic Attack. She's a novice over fences this year. It's her first year running over fences, and she's been running over 2.5 miles. Most recent time out, she ran at the at Cheltenham on Trials Day, running over 2.5 miles, which was obviously, I mean, for her, she's a 3-mile stayer plus more possibly. Running over an inadequate trip of 2.5 miles. At the top of the hill, she was last, and then coming down the hill and then coming back up the hill on the way to the finish. She then passed a load of rivals and she ended up finishing 4th. To me, it was very eye-catching performance. Before that, I mean, she's had a couple of other spins over fences as well. She looks like the more runs she has, the better she looks at jumping the fences. 25-1, I think she's a great price, and I think she'll really appreciate this step up in trip. Now, I did put up a pipe horse last year for this race. However, this year, this pipe horse has only got 1 entry. So I'm happy that she'll be running in here, because last year I put up Jericho Rock and he ended up going the Ultima a second. So, I'm happy with that she'll end up in this race. She'll love the step up in trip. She's got a rating of 129 over fences and thoroughly unexposed.
Sounds very interesting. Thank you.
She has actually got an entry on Friday. I'd be happy if she even if she wins, that's fine, because off 129 she may not quite sneak in the race. But yeah, I mean the 25-1 you can get is non-runner no bet. So yeah, I think she will get in. But even if she does really well on Friday, I'm still happy to back her, because I think 129.
I was going to ask what we'll get in. I was trying to quickly have a look, but I've not found what got in last year.
Yeah, last year bottom was 127. The year before, I think it was 131 or 132, something like that. So I mean, she's got every chance of sneaking in the bottom. But I mean, if she finishes second or third, goes up £2 or £3, I wouldn't be too disappointed.
Thank you, Alex. So that was Panic Attack in the Kinmure. Speaking of which, Bossman.
I also have one in the Kinmure. I was a bit worried that Alex was going to pick mine, but he hasn't. So let me get my notes ready. So
that's a confident take on of Alex there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no. Obviously doesn't rate my picks.
Yeah.
No,
So,
you don't rate his.
Yeah. So my horse, another Henry de Bromhead horse, is Am I Right? Currently 14-1 best odds, which I believe is Bet365. Currently has a mark of 138, an Irish mark. So I potentially, if you go through the process of maybe adding £4 or £5 in English tax, I expect Am I Right to get about 142. So potentially could be at the top of the kind of the betting. So maybe like 11, anything between 11.5 and 11 top weight, 11.12, I think. But just a bit of past history. Won the first time chasing at Fairyhouse over 2 mile 5, beating, funny enough, the other Henry de Bromhead horse, Secret She Keeps, in the Rob Cord colours, who then went on to win next time out at Matty's favourite track, Furls. Then the next 3 races, Am I Right seemed to step up, he continues stepping up in trip. So was third behind Darren's Hope and Manila Crooner at Punchestown. I think Manila Crooner went on to win the next race at Fairyhouse in early December. And then I think over Christmas, I think at Leopardstown, Am I Right was unseated. And it was I say it's ill-fated race because it obviously had Free Stripe Life and was it Unexpected Party, sadly, both passed away in that race. But that race, funny enough, his horses that we spoke about, Churchstone Warrior was second and Gaillard de Menil won the race. So obviously Churchstone went on to win at Navan last week. As Alex is now a big contender for the National Hunt Chase, probably just behind Gaillard de Menil at Cheltenham. So then,
shots fired there.
Yeah. And then last time out, it was another controversial race. Am I Right was, I think it was 3 mile 1 at Naas. It was beaten into third, but it was the race where Devil's Coachman and Ramillies were all 3 of them were all tangled and bumped into each other and stopped each other taking over. So the result was reversed. So the Devil's Coachman ended up winning and Ramillies was second. But I had to look back at the race, come up to the last. It seemed that Am I Right was bumped or bashed and didn't really quite get over the last that well, and then was miles behind after. It was about 6 lengths behind the other 2. So obviously, ultimately cost the race. But I think potentially going up to the 3 mile 5 Kinmure trip will suit Am I Right and does look a stayer. Potentially, I wonder if Henry will use Connor Brazil, who was used in the past as a jockey, could potentially take £5 off. I think he's still got his £5 claim. So that would be my pick. Am I Right? Kinmure 14-1.
Giving Panic Attack about £13
Ooh.
or so. Ooh. The challenge is on, Al.
Yeah.
I'll happily have a match bet with you, Ian. Tenner across. Who finishes higher?
Okay, deal.
Not running a bet, though.
Okay.
Let's hope Henry gets the right jockey in and puts Connor Brazil on it and not Alan Brazil.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
He'll be in the bar.
Sorry, Alan. You were a hero, man. Throwing it.
I don't think he'd quite make the weight, OJ.
Tottenham legend.
No, he won't.
Yeah, right. I'm sure Alan Brazil doesn't watch us, so we're all right. We're safe.
Yeah. You never know.
Oh, Ian's aiming high. Talk sporty for you next, boss man. Right. Speaking of boss men, our one and only Mr. Evans going to wrap up Ante Post 7 and all our Ante Posts with his handicap pick
Yes. Well, I'm going to the Grand Annual for this final one. I'm looking at it. It could be a bit of a mad selection, really, because he's shown no form whatsoever this season. And that's Andy Dufresne for Mr. Elliott. Now, when I wrote my notes yesterday, actually, he was 16-1 non-runner no bet with Bet365, but now he's down to 12-1 after the entry today. So there's been a little bit of money in there. He's been cut already. So I haven't looked at all the other bookies because I'm not sure what he is elsewhere. But I think he was as low as 10s maybe with Hills or Paddies perhaps. But he's now. Last year he was second in this race and he was absolutely smashed up into the betting, and he went off 100 to 30 favourite, didn't he? They obviously thought they were going to win last year. I mean, he was pipped by Global Citizen, who beat him by about 3 lengths, but he's now down to 152. Now that's £3 lower than what he raced off last season. Now they could give him some Irish tax, but I think he's one of these horses who's ran so poorly this season. I don't really think they could justify hiking him that much. He might get 1 or 2. Now, if they could stick one of the decent claimers on, then he'll obviously come down below that 152 or whatever he's going to be. And I think then he'd become, a realistic proposition in this. I mean, we know he acted on the course. Only one of them beat him last year. I think there was 16 in that race. And with it being Elliott, you just know that he'll have 1 or 2 of these in these races, only where they've been hiding under the sort of mark all season. So I just think that this has probably been the plan since last year. So they've held him up, and he's not shown anything all season. So yeah, it's a bit of a stab in the dark, but I just think when it was 16-1, he was a good price. Maybe not so now at the 12s, but it was a bit late to change by the time I'd done this. So, yeah, Andy Dufresne for me.
Love it. And if it has been the plan and it's plotted, then there's no better colours to be in.
I mean, surely he's better than what he's shown this season. So
it looks like he's the top Elliott horse in the betting. So you'd think if that's the case, then maybe, I don't know, Jordan Gainford, do you think?
Well, with it being JP, I mean, Mark Walsh would normally ride him, wouldn't he? But it's whether he sticks on the claimer or not, doesn't really, just to try and get his weight down a bit. I mean, if they stuck a £7 claimer on him, he'd be thrown in, wouldn't he, in that like? But you're offset against the better jockey, I suppose, aren't you? If Walsh rides him, but
yeah, true.
Yeah, we'll see nearer the time. But yeah, I just think he was worth a stab at that 16s. But obviously the price has gone a little bit now.
Lovely, thank you, Jonathan.
No problem.
So there we go, folks. Ante Post series done. Ante Post 7 to wrap it up. So quick recap on tonight. We've got Ian has got in the pocket 14-1 for the Ballymore. Am I right in the Kinmure? I can't remember what price you said for that, Ian. Sorry.
I think
Similar-ish, is it?
About
12 14s again. Okay. We've got John has got Chasing Fire in the Supreme at 16-1 for Ollie Murphy. And Andy Dufresne, as we've just heard in the Grand Annual, clipped in a bit to about 12s now from McManus. Alex, Churchstone Warrior in the National Hunt Chase. Ian had a little dig there before saying it's coming in second to Gaillard de Minhill. There's going to be all kinds kicking off on Twitter about this. Meanwhile, Ramillies will just plod along, pick them off.
He'll be plodding on 6 miles after the rest of them, but he'll be nowhere near him, will he?
And Panic Attack at 25-1 in the Kinmure for Alex. And finally, for Matty, he had Gitara 16-1 in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle and Ante in the Pertemps. Thank you, gents. It's been a great series to record. I've loved listening to your thoughts, picking up all the nuggets. So, yeah, we will move on to our review show, which should be a bit of a laugh, I think. It'll be worth a watch. Good way for people to pick up their summary. It's not a way to cheat. We better warn people. It's not a way to cheat, is it? Still got to watch all these videos back and like and subscribe and tell your friends and all that jazz. And thanks to Lloyd, Hacknett Racing Gifts. Don't forget your Cheltenham 25. No, Exchange 25. Exchange 25 is the code. And yeah, come back again soon, folks. That's all for now.